All right, welcome everybody to the Monday, January 9th, 2017 edition of SIG Service Catalog. We have a pretty full agenda today. The first thing on the agenda, which I will go ahead and split into a new tab and share, since no one wants to see my trillion tabs that are open. Oh my God. Zoom has a absolutely incredible way of not presenting me with the option to share the window that I specifically want to share. It is truly maddening and insane. Let's see. 1 second. Technical difficulties. Perfect. All right. It's done it again. Okay. Can folks see my screen?
A little small, but yeah, it's there.
Okay. 1 sec. I can do something about that. Okay. How about now? This is, of course, the wrong URL that it opened to. That's okay. Okay. So first thing, proposals, CFP responses submitted to KubeCon. In total, for the service catalog space, there were 3 proposals submitted, as we have discussed in previous SIG meetings. One was a talk with myself and Chip Childers from Cloud Foundry, which is sort of the general overview of Open Service Broker API and Kubernetes service catalog. And then there were 2 panels. One was with folks from the SIG, this SIG, and the other was folks that are committers on the Open Service Broker API. So I am fairly confident that we will get at least one of those in. I think that we are supposed to hear back next week. But in the past, KubeCon CFP responses have slipped. The pattern has been like, they will say that they will get back to you on date X, and then they don't do that. A week passes, and then they say they need another week after that. So maybe by the end of January, we'll know for sure exactly which submissions were accepted and which weren't. But that is the story on that. So next up is Aaron with progress being made on F2F planning.
Yeah, F2F means face-to-face meeting. For those who didn't get email or notification somehow, the face-to-face is in Boulder, Colorado at the DAIS office. We have a sort of working copy of the agenda. We're going to finalize it on Wednesday, and I'll send it out on the same email thread as sort of the finalized copy. So you'll know basically what's the overall structure of what we want to take care of, what we want to go over in the face-to-face. Of course, like last time, you'll have opportunity at the beginning of the face-to-face to say what you want to talk about as well, and you'll obviously help shape that. But look out for that email on Wednesday. For those who are coming to the face-to-face, if you don't know when or where it is, please ping me on Slack. I will be happy to tell you. And that is about it for now. So I will turn it back over to you, Paul.
Okay. So The last SIG meeting of 2016, we talked about a couple milestones, the first of which we called the Legos 1 because it is the building blocks that are necessary to get to an MVP. So we have a few polls that together get us much of the way towards the things that we talked about in Legos 1, and just to rehash what those things are, basically we want to have a working API server that serves our V1 Alpha 1 version of the Kubernetes Service Catalog API. And this is really sort of like the linchpin for everything else that we need to build to get to an MVP state, because that is how all the components in Kubernetes actually access the API. So the pieces that are in flight now are in order of PR submission time. First, a pull request that does some code moves and a little bit of refactoring into a shape that is closer to the Kubernetes upstream layout from Kent at Deus. Then pull request that adds some API registration and adds the skeleton of the pieces that we need to actually persist resource instances back into etcd or into etcd and get them back out, which was submitted by myself, but is the synthesis of work that Morgan Bauer, Aaron at Deus, and myself have done. And then there is a pull request from Jeff Peeler at Red Hat that finishes the code generation for the conversions, fixes an issue with code generation for defaults, and adds a test that does fuzzing and round tripping of API objects in our API through all that stuff to prove that it works. So that's big medicine, because after these are merged, I think we'll be in a state where it will be there's not a lot of work left to actually hook the API server up to etcd and be able to write some behavioral tests and use kubectl for like raw CRUD operations against the API server. So it's great to be where we are, and I'll be even happier in like 2 or 3 days, hopefully, when all that stuff is merged. Any questions on that before we move on?
Just want to add a couple, at least, of those PRs have 2 LGTMs. So I'm going to try and bother some people, so forgive me in advance, but I'm going to try and bother some people to get that final LGTM3 on there, and that will be greatly appreciated. So thank you guys in advance.
Okay. Let's see. Has Brendan joined us? Yeah. Brendan, you have the floor.
Oh yeah, sure. So, we have a lot more people working on the repo now, and a lot of big PRs going through, and it's resulted in broken functionality or broken building or broken various things pretty frequently, probably more often than things are working. And the main cause of that is that we don't have end-to-end testing, either really for the development environment or for the GitHub PR gating. So I wanted to raise the question of what we should do about it. And so the thought is that we have a one-off meeting this week. Were we thinking Wednesday or Thursday? I think Wednesday of this week to discuss that and finalize a strategy, and then we can start implementing it. Right now we have Travis, which does unit tests, and we have Jenkins that is not plugged in and maybe has some final bits that need to be taken care of before it works for our scenario. So that could be used for gating PRs through GitHub. But we just need to come up with a strategy for dev testing as well as GitHub PR testing.
Yeah. So long term, I think they probably my own predilections are towards a choice of CI server, like completely orthogonal. Probably some tests that test things like boilerplate and any kind of munging that we might have to do, and make sure that that's done correctly. Then separately, a test that just runs unit and integration tests, test job that runs those things. And then also a job that does EDEs. And the challenge with EDEs for us is going to be that we have to stand up a Kubernetes cluster to be able to test EDEs for binding and unbinding. So someone needs to mute. So that would be my own like TLDR of what's in my mind. I'm curious to know what others think about this.
Is this something that could be run on the mini kube, the local kube stuff?
Yes. In fact, I think Hypercube would be a good basis of this. I understand Minikube to be Hypercube plus some other odds and ends, basically.
Yeah, the only reason I focus on Hypercube is because my understanding of Minikube is that it stands up its own virtual machine to run this stuff, and I'm already running inside a virtual machine when I do my stuff. That's why I like Hypercube, because it'll use my current Docker setup and just bring up containers to do everything.
There's actually, yeah, Doug, I can follow up with you on that if you want, but there is a version that doesn't set up a virtual machine.
Oh, cool. Okay, that'd be good then.
And I run Hypercube on my local system because I like to live dangerously. Okay, I'm sensing either this is not a controversial subject or no one is comfortable expressing themselves. And since I've never known anybody in this group to not be comfortable expressing themselves, I'm guessing this is not a controversial subject.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't want to do testing, please stand up now. And
then head
for to your left.
Yeah, I was going to say head for the door, exactly.
So maybe action item, Paul, would you be willing to set up the meeting with the Zoom?
Yes, I will set up a meeting. I will set up 2 meetings for Wednesday afternoon to discuss the 2 topics of, let's see, I think we wanted to have one on testing, and then we also wanted to have one that was like a grooming and issue backlog triage.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And we wanted to put them both on Wednesday since we're already having these things. And we would like to reduce interruptions.
Sounds good. I will do it. Okay, Morgan, you have the floor.
No, I just wanted to, we've got sort of these PRs that are sort of, oh, yes, this depends on that. And the next one you go to, oh, this one depends on that one. The next one. So I was just, what's the constant evolution progress kind of things that we're of always making movement. I don't want to be just committing things to get things committed, but what's the thought process on getting 216 in, if it's ready or if it's not ready, or what's the
so I personally think that 210 should merge first because it is by far the largest.
right?
I also personally consider that one to be ready for merge. I think, Aaron, you had a couple nits you found that you wanted fixed. If we could get done and merged today, I think that would be delightful.
Yeah, I talked to Kent offline, and those are all resolved. We're just going to put it for the record on the PR, and that'll be LGTM3 and merged probably in the next 20 minutes after this is over.
Okay, super. So it sounds like we'll be able to get that one in today, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah.
So after that, I think I will need to rebase 216 on master,
Right.
which is cool because I am one of the people that actually enjoys rebasing code. And then I think 235, which is Jeff's pull request, if I remember correctly, it should be actually orthogonal to most of those changes. So Jeff will need to rebase, but it shouldn't be that much work. Lucky Jeff.
I might have the wrong number in there. I had a tiny one that was based on yours for some of the strategy stuff to go through it. And then there was a further question I had, basically, of what are people's sort of opinions on making a PR to basically discuss things, and if we don't want to make a PR to discuss things, what's the appropriate venue such that A, it gets publicly exposed, and B, I don't go around annoying people by asking them, hey, what do you think of this?
What is the object of the discussion?
No, I just want to sort of get eyes on some things sometimes, and to do that I usually just make a PR. And
I think making a PR is fine. It's easy. It's easiest, I think, to do a review on code than it is to bike shed about English words.
Yep.
So,
okay. No, I agree.
My own position is that it's fine and good to make polls. And I see that you have made another poll adding some additional stuff, like additional details to the registry, which I think is great.
Right. No, and that's so that's sort of a discussion PR in the fact that, oh, here's an example. It's basically just the stubs, and now I need to figure out what to somewhat put in some of the things to know it, but and as sort of forward progress, forward movement. I just want to get things out there sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And Morgan, feel free to bug people if you want a preliminary review or just whatever. I feedback before the code is done.
Okay.
And I would put in the PR description to remind people if they should not be doing a complete review, but just review some specific section or the overall design or architecture, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll make sure I'll do something. Yeah, I'll put a label or put a thing at the top. That's a good point. Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent. You're correct. It requires notation. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Well, that is the end of our agenda for this meeting. Is there anything that folks would like to discuss today, knowing that we have 2 hours of meetings on Wednesday to do a deeper dive on certain things?
Hey, this is Vile. I was just curious if there has been any talk about doing something in conjunction with the Berlin KubeCon with this group. before or after?
Oh, a face-to-face before or after?
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. So it looks like I am going to be in Berlin for a OpenShift Commons event that's co-located with KubeCon, but is the day before. I expect that I'll probably be there for like another few days. So I would potentially be available to do something like that. Maybe that's something we should take to the mailing list and
Yeah, I was
take
just
everyone's
curious.
temperature. No, I think that would be a great idea.
Okay.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I will give you all this time back. Thanks for tuning in. And I will speak to you all very shortly on the internet. All right. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.